Screen sizes have been growing at a ridiculous pace. Back in 2011, the 5-inch Dell Streak, you remember that? Well, you'd be forgiven if you don't, because the Dell Streak was called a phablet, a niche device at best. But as of last year, we couldn't find a single flagship with a display smaller than 4.8 inches. People wanting smaller displays had to make do with the iPhone or end up choosing a mini. The mini. For 2 years now, manufacturers have been skating by, churning out mid-range devices that look like flagships but smaller, labeling them mini. HTC One Mini, Galaxy S3 Mini, the S4 Mini, all decent devices but mid-end at best. So the wait for a stellar device with a small display but flagship specs continued. But now, Sony's decided to change the way the game's played. The Xperia Z1 Compact. Almost the same specs as the flagship Xperia Z1, but in a much smaller body. So thanks to clove.co.uk, we've managed to get our hands on the Xperia Z1 Compact, and in this video let's take a closer look at it, see if it's the game changer that Sony wants it to be. Before we do that, if this is your first time here or if you're just too old to remember, my name's Ash, this is C4E Tech, and you're watching my full review of the Xperia Z1 Compact. There are 4 major differences between the Z1 and the Z1 Compact. Number 1, a 4.3-inch 720p display instead of the 5-inch Full HD display. Well, theoretically, yes, the pixel density is lower at 342 pixels per inch instead of 441, but you'd be hard-pressed to find any pixelation with the naked eye. Moreover, unlike with the display on the Z and Z1, this display here offers excellent viewing angles and no washout at extreme angles. This makes me personally prefer the display on the Xperia Z1 Compact to the one on the Xperia Z1. Number 2, obviously form factor. The Z1 Compact is of course compact, as a result of which it's a millimeter thicker at 9.5 millimeters, but at the same time it's also lighter by 33 grams. Number 3, the back is now plastic instead of glass. Not a great change if you ask me. The plastic back does get scratched quite a bit very easily. As someone who takes utmost care of the devices that I use, I've had multiple micro scratches within just a few days. Not a big fan of the change. Number 4, the battery on the Z1 Compact is now 2300 mAh instead of 3000 on the Z1. With a smaller display and smaller overall footprint, this makes sense. And what's even more impressive here is that the battery life for the first time on a Sony Xperia flagship, the battery is very good. On a looping video playback tests, we got a bit over 10 hours of playback before the Z1 Compact ran out of juice. That's almost twice as long as the Z, Z1 or the Z Ultra lasted. Impressive stuff from Sony. Apart from these 4, the Z1 Compact is very similar to the Z1. Frame cut out from a single sheet of metal, check. 20.7 megapixel rear camera with a 2-stage shutter key, check. Waterproof IP58 certification, check. Underneath the hood, it's still the same Snapdragon 800 chipset. 4 Krait 400 cores clocked at 2.26 GHz each, coupled with an Adreno 330 GPU and 2 gigs of RAM. As an added advantage of the 720p display, the Z1 Compact actually outscores the Z1 in quite a few benchmarks. When it comes to real day-to-day usage like say gaming, the Z1 Compact again performs very well, chomping through anything thrown at it. It's worth pointing out that after using big screens for a long time, going back to a 4.3-inch display takes a bit of getting used to, especially while gaming. With the Xperia Z1 Compact, Sony's managed to improve the audio quality via both the earpiece as well as the internal speakers, and audio playback via the included earphones remains solid as always. Like I mentioned earlier, the Z1 Compact retains the same 20.7 megapixel shooter with a 1x2.3-inch sensor, but unfortunately the same issues that plagued the Z1 still exist here. Burst mode or simultaneous photo capture while shooting video results in 2 megapixel pictures. This means you could rather grab a screenshot from a video instead. With superior auto, you're still limited to 8 megapixel pictures. You want a 16:9 pic, or use HDR mode, or choose from one of the preset scene modes. Guess what? You're still limited to 8 megapixels. Don't get me wrong, the camera is very capable, the hardware itself is great, it can shoot some very impressive pictures. The software on the other hand, not so much. We just keep hoping Sony can remove some of the self-imposed software restrictions here. And yeah, 1080p video recording as expected is pretty good. Now moving on to software, the Z1 Compact runs Android 4.3 Jelly Bean with Sony's Xperia UI on top. It is the same that's found on the Xperia Z1, clean and minimalistic. You still get quite a few themes, you get quick toggles in the notification menu, the stamina mode, hell, even the small apps, the miniature versions of apps that float on screen are present here. While they may not be as useful on the Z1 Compact as they were on the Z1 or the Z Ultra, but the fact that they are available shows Sony's intent on creating a flagship device that's just a bit smaller. There are no omissions, everything's fast and stable, absolutely no lag. So that pretty much brings us to the end of this review. Finally, a smaller phone that's worthy of the flagship name. I've read hundreds of comments of people complaining about displays getting too big. Now there's a solution. We have a solid option from Sony. The Z1 Compact seems to be a game changer. The mini phones have been getting ridiculous lately. Check out the specs on the recently announced LG G2 Mini. 960 by 540 pixels on a 4.7-inch display. And LG decided that device was worth carrying their flagship name. Ridiculous. Simply ridiculous. So what do you guys think? Do you think the Z1 Compact has what it takes to be a game changer? Something that finally causes other manufacturers to stop releasing substandard phones not worthy of the flagship names as minis? Or do you think Sony might have missed a step here and should have gone with a mini of their own? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So anyway, if you guys do want to pick up an Xperia Z1 Compact, you can do that from clove.co.uk. Clove ships internationally and offers one of the safest methods to import phones no matter where you live. I'll leave direct links down below. So once again, thanks a lot for watching guys. If you liked the video, show your support, give this video a thumbs up. And for more videos like these, make sure you stay subscribed. So that's pretty much it. Till next time, this is Ash here from C4E Tech signing off. You guys have a great day. Bye bye now.